Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Gotta find my corner.
Wow, that's nice and sing loud.
Of the sky. Everything has its season. Everything has its time. Show me your reason, and I'll soon show you a rhyme. Cast it on the windowsill. Children fit in the snow. Why do I feel I don't fit in anywhere I go? Rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. I've got to be where my spirit can be free. Gotta find my corner of the sky. Every man has his daydreams. Every man has his goals. People like the way dreams have up sticking to their soul. Thunderclouds have the lightning. Nightingales have their song. And don't you see I want my life to be something.
Wow. Hello, and welcome. We're still trying to figure out the sound bar here. There's got to be an easier way to fade than that. But anyway, hi. This is Michael Cagle, and you are listening to Taking Center Stage with me, your host. I want to give a shout-out to my sponsor. I Am Indie, part of World Movement Records, and Lamont Patterson and crew over at World Movement Entertainment. They are a great group of people, and I thank them for the opportunity of doing this. As well as some of the really cool stuff that's going to be happening here in the next couple weeks and months are going to be pretty exciting and crazy. And I had a guest scheduled today, and I got a message that they weren't going to be able to appear, and I understand, so we're going to reschedule that. But rather than canceling a show, I thought I would just open the phone lines up to my friends. The number is 347-308-8747, or you can click on the link on Facebook, go to my page and click the link, and there should be a way to get it in touch with me, and we can talk. But I figured today we let you be a guest. Some of you are got so much going on. I've said it repeatedly, and I don't say it without meaning it. I have some of the most incredibly talented and gifted friends anybody could ever ask for, from singers to actors to writers to even people that work with creative arts, artists and hairdressers and stylists and people that do costumes. I have been very blessed to have been in the entertainment business for a long time, and in doing so, you meet some incredible people, and I truly can say some of my friends are some of the most talented that you will ever encounter anywhere, and that's not a mild thing. And those of you who know me pretty well know that when it comes to critiquing and judging, I'm pretty sincere and honest, and I will honestly say that my friends are ridiculously good. So anyway, I am going to just kind of, I guess, hope that some people call in. You can just give me a call and we can talk about what's going on, or you can ask me a question about what's going on with me. But most of all, it's just about taking the day today, seeing how long we can go with you as a guest as well. So that being said, I guess I can talk about me, but I always feel weird about it. I guess there's a professional way to do it, just letting you guys know some of the stuff that's coming up. I will have, courtesy of World Movement Records, I was in the studio the last couple months finishing up some songs for 3 holiday releases that will be released through World Movement Records. And one is an original that I wrote, and I had taken a stab at recording it before, but I wasn't happy with the way it was done. And I have a very set idea of the song when it was written, of the amount of passion and that kind of thing. And I was able to go in the studio and actually make the version that I have really wanted to make since I first wrote it. And I'm very excited to say that will be coming out within the next few days, actually. And then after that, there will be two more. One will be a version of Mary Did You Know, which I think is a great song. And it's one that I felt really good about redoing and getting in there and laying it all out. And it's a great song, really good message for those of you that celebrate Christmas and are of the belief that Jesus is the reason for the season. The song really fits well. And finally, the last song that will be released is my interpretation of "Oh Holy Night," which was really kind of incredible to get to do because it's something that I had wanted to sing forever. And I had done other people's arrangements, and I enjoyed it, but I always had something in my head of what I wanted. And I have to give a shout out. I went to Seattle Sound Productions and worked with Jimmy Flaherty, and he produced the most incredible track. And we did it kind of interesting. We recorded my vocals, a rough vocal first of where I wanted the song to go. I knew what key it was going to be in, but I wanted the song to go, the pacing, the timing, how the ending was going to be. So I actually sang it first, and Jimmy was able to build a track around that, which was absolutely incredible to see. A lot of times people do the track first and the singer comes in and lays down the vocals, but because I had wanted to sing this song for such a long time and had such a concept in my head of the feel and the rhythm and everything, I got to go in and do the vocals first, a rough track of the vocals. He built a skeleton track around that, and then we began filling in the pieces of that, and then I went back in and did the vocals for it, and was mastered and everything. So it was an incredible experience, and I absolutely loved it. Jimmy was amazing, and as I said, he produced a phenomenal track. I'm really, really, really proud of it. So I'm not sure if anybody is hearing me because nobody is calling me, and I can't tell if I'm going or if I'm not going or what's happening. But I will say that if you want to call, now is the time. It's 347-308-8747. If you just want to call in and say hi, if you have something to share, want to say something, want to ask something, that would be great. If not, this is going to be an incredibly short show because I'm not necessarily someone that likes talking just about myself, especially since I have so many amazing friends right now that are tearing up the stage and tearing up the recording studio, and they got so much going on themselves. And I'm one of these people that really enjoys I really enjoy the success of my friends. And because I don't know anybody's personal beliefs, but if you're only on this planet once, live your best life. And one of the cool things about it is, the relationships you make with people are the things that really get you through the dark times and the hard times. And it's okay also to support someone, even supporting someone that's in the same field as you, because if you're going to succeed, somebody else succeeding isn't going to take that away from you unless you're a carbon copy of that person. So my philosophy is that if you have a friend that you can support, it doesn't take anything away from your ability to succeed by supporting them and being there for them and opening doors for them, because in the long run, I think it will pay itself back. So, in fact, one of those amazing people I think is listening to my show now, and she has, I have to tell you, her name, obviously she was a guest before. Her name is Brandy Wine, and she, I will tell you, has released an amazing track, and I really hope that everyone gets a chance to listen to it. It was a version of a song that appeared in The Greatest Showman, and it was a popular song. But Brandy is one of those that hears music a really neat way, and she's more of a rock singer, in kind of like an Evanescence kind of very clean but very rocky voice. And she did an amazing job on a song called Never Enough. And I hope that everyone gets a chance to either go to Spotify or one of their favorite streaming services and look it up, and even more important, maybe download it. It was an incredible track, and I've listened to it probably 20 times in the last 4 days, and I'm in awe of her vocal presence. And she has, the song itself has some really cool guitar work. She brought in the guitar player. Reach out to my friend Shane, country music singer and award, to see if he'd call it. That's awesome. Okay, that'd be great. But I believe his name is Roger, and he is a Hall of Famer, rock and roll Hall of Famer, with Heart, and he did some guitar work on that song. So I'm just ecstatic for her. So do yourself a favor. Her name is Brandy Wine, BrandiWyne, and go to her website, check that song out. She's amazing, and put a lot of time and energy into this song, and she really deserves as much recognition as possible, because it's incredible to hear, and I just adore her. And wow, the last note she hits on that song is just phenomenal. Yeah, I think she got some really good advice from someone about doing that. I don't know who that was. It may have been me. So, yeah, she's incredible. So anyway, I would love to talk to some people, and I'm getting messages on Facebook, which is cool. So hopefully some of them will call in, because I am getting messages. If you want to call in, the number is 347-308-8747. My name is Michael Cagle, and this is Taking Center Stage. With me, your host, and we are also heading into the spooky Halloween season. Woo! I've always been a big Christmas person. I've always loved the holidays. For me, they start right at Thanksgiving and go through New Year's, and it's all about snowmen for me. Everybody has their kind of things they enjoy at Christmas time, and for me, it's just a barrage of snowmen, yeah. But lately, I've been kind of getting into the Halloween kind of mood, because it's a great way to decorate your yard, and I'm all about that. I'm all about great presentation. And so I've just recently got into Halloween. I don't know. Is anybody else a big Halloween fan? Do they decorate their yards? What holidays do you like best? So I have a bunch of Sam from Trick or Treat all over my house because I just really like the character. And a pumpkin on a head is really kind of cool. So, but that's just me because I'm kind of strange and weird, and I like. So that's that and werewolves. Everybody knows I like werewolves. So I don't know what else to say about that. This is what you call filling space and time, hoping that someone will call in so that you don't feel so dumb. But other than that, I will wait to see. I guess I could play another song, but it's not, not my preference to do that. I'd rather be talking to someone. So I'd really love it if you called area code 347-308-8747 and give me a shout out. I'm hoping that last week everybody that tried to call in said the line was busy. So I'm not sure if that is a problem. I'm hoping it's not a problem this week because then I'm really in a bad spot. So I'm going to take a quick little break for a second. And not that I don't want to hear from you. In fact, I do. But I'm going to wait to see if somebody comes in. Other than that, I hate to do this to you guys, but here's one. I'm going to play some music because I'm a big fan and a huge fan of this artist. Huge fan. And I never got to see her perform, and I was really saddened because I think, honestly, iconic in everything that she did. And the voice, as soon as you hear it, you'll know who I'm talking about. Enjoy this. I'll be back at the end of the song. Thanks.
Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel so uninspired. And when I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel
Aretha Franklin, Natural Woman. I just love, I love voices that you don't even have to think, who is that? That you just hear it and you know it. It's the tone or the presentation or the placement or you know. It's like, that's Aretha. That's Patti LaBelle. That's Michael Bolton. Just vocalists who's I hate to say this, who came out when you didn't need auto-tune and layer after layer after layer to try to create something. They just stepped up to a microphone and sang, and you knew who they were, and you I love it. There's a whole slew of great singers that I love now. I'm a huge fan of Adele, and I love Shawn Mendes for many reasons. But there's still people out today with some really good set of vocal chops. Kelly Clarkson is another one. But it seems like, and maybe this is terrible to say, but it just seems like the singers before the turn of the century, God, that sounds so funny to say that, before the turn of the century just were more vocalists. They didn't have a lot of gimmicks that would make them a star. They just have to step up to the microphone and be a star. And I just love that. And Aretha obviously is one of the most iconic voices that you could ever hear. You just know as soon as that opens up, you hear, she's just there. Anyway, my number is 347-308-8747. And yes, I am talking up a storm, and I'm going to give this another probably 7 minutes. If I don't get any responses, that's okay. I would have planned this a little differently, but I didn't want to just go without doing a show. So I figured I would at least give an attempt to get people. I do have people calling in. Let me see what I've got. I'm looking at last four of 8348, and I'm going to hit this person up. Yay, I hope they're good. Hello, you're live with me. Hi, who is this?
Well, I couldn't just leave you hanging like that. I was going to call in and at least say hi.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
No worries.
It is so weird because, when you got something planned and you're committed, and then they're like, we can't make it. What do? You want to be professional and say, okay, well, the show must go on. We're going to stick with it. We're going to go with it. We're going to push through. And it's a little bit more difficult when you have 90 minutes and nobody to talk to. You're like,
that's when you get real good at talking to yourself.
I am. I'm like, okay, what would I want to hear? Oh, so obviously on the line, my incredible, dear, amazing, well, she's family now, but my compatriot is Brandywine is on the line with us, and I was bragging about you because I'm obsessed with your version of Never Enough.
Aw, thank you. I'm glad
obsessed.
You like it. I wonder who helped me with that. Head scratch. No.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to tell you, it is amazing. Like, it's just so well put together and well thought out, and it just like gives you enough of the original to take people on a journey, and then you do your own thing with it, and it's really amazing. And I really hope you get the streams and the likes and the, I'm really, I have been performing my entire life since I was like 6 years old, but getting into the actual business of the music business is different. And, you know, once you got a grasp of it, of course, everything went into streaming, and streaming, of course, changed what everybody thought they knew about the music business. And everybody is now, I think, trying to catch up with what to do, what not to do. But all I know is, if anybody here is listening, if you haven't, now you have your own website, right? Brandy Wine Band?
BrandyWineProductions.com. Yeah.
Brandy Wine Productions. Okay.
Yeah, I had that set up that way from when I would help with WKT, so that I could do a shoot off of it on a separate page for their stuff.
Okay.
Due to COVID and whatnot, I haven't been able to help them out in a couple years now, but you know, in case that ever comes back around.
Okay. So but your music is on BrandyWineProductions.com. Okay.
Yeah, BrandyWineProductions.com or Brandy Huang on YouTube, and then everywhere else under Brandy Wine.
Cool.
So, but yeah, you're right though. The streaming industry has changed music a lot. It's been kind of a double-edged sword, because it's great now everybody can get heard, but now that everybody can get heard, everybody gets lost. So the trick is getting people to actually hear what you've put out. It is what it is.
Yeah, that is, because I remember, you know, being a child of the 80s, I remember, you know, Tuesdays, I think it was Tuesdays, were always the big music release days, and everybody kind of sat around and waited for who was going to drop what, and, you know, what album was going to come out or what CD was going to come out. And now it's just like everybody with a microphone and, you know, a good music program is making music, which in its own way is a good thing, I guess. I can't really slam it, because, you know, as an artist, you got to do your craft, and I know what that's like. But boy, it is hard to be recognized in a sea with so much out there. So
yeah, well, and it's harder too as an indie artist or an independent artist to get people to listen to your stuff, because now they're more leery. Because anybody can put something out. You've got the really great artists out there that want to be heard and should be heard. But then you've also got, you know, random, you know, Matt or Adam or whoever in their garage trying to put something together, and in reality they're tone deaf. Like I said, again, it's like a double-edged sword. So once somebody gets once or twice those types of people up on their new release or the new released music or indie music rotations, then they're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. So it can really hurt artists that are, you know, trying to get out there and do it, but there's no way to filter it. Or, I mean, before, if you didn't have a label to submit your stuff, it didn't get out there. So it had to be at a certain level. Now there's no filters anymore. And that's not to say that, you know, independents shouldn't do it. They totally should. And, you know, you have to put your stuff out there and you have to try. But yeah, that's just another one of the little hiccups.
What was the most exciting part of the process of doing that song? What part of that made you just like, oh yeah, I'm so excited?
Honestly, meeting Roger Fisher.
Okay.
Heart, I loved the band Heart. I still do. So he was someone I listened to for a long time, and I've always admired his guitar playing. I mean, he's the one that came up with the riff for Barracuda, and I've always looked up to him. So getting to meet him in person, and he's the nicest guy, and just get to shake his hand and watch him do his craft, it was great. I loved it. But yeah, it's funny because when I mentioned that I was going to try and do a rock cover of that, most people kind of shook their heads and they were like, no, no, that can't work. And it was interesting to see then the reactions change after it came out. It's like, no, I got people who knew what they were doing. It's all good. It's fine.
I would actually play it now. I don't have it as a track. I mean, yeah, because
what do you need? I can get it to you.
Well, the software that I'm using, I'm trying to figure out how I would do that. I mean, I can do it like I can do it. Huh?
Where do you pull your music from using that program?
I have to pull it from. I don't know how I do this. I just start pressing buttons. No, let's see. If I go to audio, this is so funny, and this is the kind of show that I figured I would do, where I look.
Right.
Okay, so I have to make it. I have to make it as a file. So if I get it, then I can download it. Maybe download it to my what's it called? My desktop, and then from the desktop import it in.
Okay. So I wanted to give a suggestion too. I totally think you need to do like what the last or first Friday of the month or whatever, do like a Cagle's karaoke corner and have some of these amazing people that you know as artists come in and sing live for people. I think that would be hysterical and extremely entertaining.
I absolutely love that idea. I really do, and it's true. My circle of friends is ridiculous. Like I just, I'm blown away at the incredible level of talent that exists. But what I would like to do is, I will get your track put into my audio clips file, and that way I can play it whenever I want to.
Oh, no worries. I can.
What have you gotten good response? I've seen some of the people's comments, on threads about it, and they're like pretty impressed. Are you feeling good with the response that you're getting?
You know what? Some of them have been, amazing. I've gotten some that, again, they just didn't really want to even listen to it because they were a little too leery, which, they're lost. But I've gotten some really good feedback. I've shared it a couple of different places. Besides the normal streaming platforms, there's certain like Facebook groups and TikTok groups and, all that stuff. I think one of the nicest comments I've gotten was I had a gentleman who I don't know, and he wasn't a follower of mine, but he is now apparently, say that I had one of the best voices he's heard in the music industry in a while. So I was really flattered by that. And I was like, oh, that's great. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to start following all your stuff now. I was like, yay, small victories.
It is. Well, it starts with it. It starts by, unfortunately, it's weird because your friends support you, but they're not as rabid as someone. And rabid, I guess, is not the greatest terminology, but they don't get as excited as maybe someone that discovers you that doesn't know who you are. It's I'm married, and I get compliments from my husband all the time, about I'm good, but I'm not sure, how do I say this correctly? There's very little that I do now that wows him, because he's heard me do so much stuff already that it's hard for him to get excited, as opposed to if I go somewhere and no one's ever heard me, then they're like, oh my gosh, oh, you're wonderful, or whatever. And it's because you're new. So it's cool that you are reaching out and people are hearing you that aren't just your friends. So
right. Well, and it's funny too because friends and family, you know, we love them and we appreciate all their support and
right.
but after a while, you don't know if they're saying stuff just to be nice or not.
Right.
So, I mean, and I hate to, I don't want to sound like a jerk or anything, but, you know, a compliment from a total stranger will always have a little bit more weight than a friend or a family member because you never really know. Be like, oh, are they saying that to be nice? Or are they, you know, being genuine or, but also as a musician, because of that, I always want to help other musicians, which is why, you know, when I was messaging you before, I was telling you I was trying to get you another singer on your show for you. He might need some more advance notice though, because he is super busy. My buddy Shane Thornton, he's an amazing country singer. He was JMA's Male Songwriter of the Year in 2019. He's been on the IRCAs, the ACMAs in 2020 and 2021. He used to be a bassist for Jeff Bates. I mean, he's an all-around great guy too. So
nice.
I was like, I was really hoping, but you know, when people get to that level, they're also super busy. And it's like, oh, come on, please. He's on for like another 45 minutes.
Right.
So, but yeah, and, you know, like I said, any exposure is, you know, good exposure for all artists. You never know where you're going to find that next fan. And in the music industry, what you really want to attribute or what you want to attract are what they call the core group or super fans, because those are the ones that are really going to promote and push your music and follow you. And most artists, if they can establish anywhere between like 20 to 100 of them, you know, they're good. And those are going to be total strangers that don't know you but really love your stuff and believe in what you're doing. Right. So, but yeah. So anyway, but I tried.
Well, thank you. That's one thing about you. You definitely, you are a big support of those around you. I mean, you're as much as I know you want to succeed, you're not all about just you though, and that's a really nice, refreshing thing. Because there's, like I said, there's a lot of people that, you know, there's a lot of people that. Oh, what was I going to say? Wow. I was reading all these messages coming in. Where was I at? That's what happens when you read 3 messages at one time. Your head goes, wow.
It's okay. Yeah, I try to support other artists because I know how difficult it is. And I want to see people who have talent succeed. So even if it's not me, then
and I don't think you know what, and I know what I was going to say. I don't think that people realize that, and I was saying this at the beginning of the show. There are so many people that are afraid of complimenting or supporting someone else in the area that they're in. They're so afraid that that person will, you know, succeed and that they won't, that they just spend their entire time asking for support from other people, but not giving it. And I look at it like this. Yes. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your sentence because I'm going to go off topic.
Well, I was just going to say, because, you know, the music industry, just like acting, just like any kind of performing arts, is competitive. You're going to always have someone that's right underneath, you know, that's breathing on your neck or that you're competing with. But the bottom line is that if you have what someone wants and you can deliver it, then it wouldn't matter if someone else is competing against you. If you're the best one for that job or the best one for that position or the best one for that role, or, you know, then you're going to get it. You know, if I have a friend named Sam, and Sam, you know, always competes with me for gigs, I shouldn't hate Sam if Sam gets gigs, because if I'm competing with him or in the ring with him, quote unquote, and I'm doing everything that I can, but they're still getting the gigs, then there's something about Sam that's good, and I need to acknowledge that. But I wouldn't.
Right.
I wouldn't stop Sam from. I wouldn't stop celebrating Sam. So his promotions, just because I wasn't getting something, and that's just my philosophy. I'm like, I want to succeed, and I want to be able to do as much as I possibly can, but I'm also going to go out there and support my friends that are doing the same thing, because this is a tough business, and so
it is.
I don't know. Yeah,
Give me
Anyway,
give me your number again. Give me your call-in number one more time.
Okay.
What's your call-in number?
It's 347 308 8747.
8747. Okay, speaking of absolutely amazing artists, I have a friend of mine. Her name is Tamari. She is a South Washington person who is the lead singer for a band called Lungduster. They're a rock alternative band in the area. They're relatively new. However, they have been getting amazing reviews written up about them and have been booking shows left and right. And I believe she's going to call in. So we may have another person here so she can talk to you about their new group and what's going on with them.
Awesome. That would be wonderful. Because that's how we do things here. We just...
Of course. Well, like I said, I want to help anyone who does music. But I'm trying to type at the same time here. Yeah, so she's absolutely amazing. No, the off-topic one I was going to say is you totally should have Chris, I always say her last name wrong, Goen. You should have her come on and talk about her podcast, the Before You Swipe, because she does that whole podcast about dating apps and profiles, and as being a PhD in sexual, I don't know what is considered sexual doctor or whatever. Her podcast is absolutely hysterical, that she does with her friend, and I bet you that would be a really fun episode too. Plus, she's a singer, and she competed in the karaoke circuit and all that, so that can still tie in with music too. But yeah, her podcast is awesome. It always makes me laugh.
I'm gonna be connecting caller at the last four digits are 8361, and I'm gonna go live. Let's see. Hello, you're live. 8361. Who is this?
Hi, this is Timmery Moxie.
There she is.
We were just talking about you. Hi.
Yes, this is the lead singer for Lungduster. It's an amazing band that recently started in Washington.
Whereabouts are you located?
We're located out of Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, okay. You're not that far. Okay. You're not that far. All right. So tell me about yourself. Tell me about your group.
Well, we formed back in June of this year, and it's been kind of a whirlwind. Things have taken off really quickly. But as a whole, there's four of us in the band, and as a whole, we have over 50 years experience in the music industry. And I myself have been in other rock bands for years. I have a degree in vocal performance, and we've all been performing for a long time, but this is the first time we've performed together, and it's just been absolutely magical. We do a lot of kind of rockabilly punk type music, and now we've just hit the ground running.
Wow, dude! Are you doing originals, covers, both?
So we started out with just a couple of original songs, and now we have about 7. We do kind of fill in our set list with a couple covers just to kind of keep the crowd interested and ramped up and whatnot until we can kind of fill in those gaps with the energy we're looking for with some more originals. at this time. Like I said, I think we have about 7 originals written that we're performing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So where have you gotten to perform? Is it
so far we've performed at the Plaid Pig down on South Tacoma Way, the Airport Tavern on South Tacoma Way, and the Valley down on Puyallup Avenue in downtown Tacoma. We've done a few private gigs, and on November 4th we'll be at the Plaid Pig.
Is that the Plaid Pig?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what part of performing do you like the best?
For me, I love the energy exchange between me and my fellow musicians and between us and the crowd. That is my favorite part of performing. It really is magic when you get that that energy back and forth between the people who came to watch you and support you, and between you and your music family, right? And it's really something that I live for.
That's excellent.
I've been meaning to ask for a while. Tamari, how did you come up with the name Lung Duster?
I didn't. I did not come up with that name. It actually came from our guitarist. He actually brought that over from a former band he was in, and you would have to ask him where that name comes from, because I honestly don't know, but I like the way it sounds. So,
and I like the stickers, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I might have a couple of those stickers on my guitar case.
All right, everybody stay on. I've got another caller. Hold on. 8910. You are live. 8910. Hi, who is this? Hello? 8910. Is there somebody there? I know there's somebody there. You're showing up, but okay, I'm going to put you back on hold. But thanks for calling in, I guess. I'm glad you're
Maybe their
listening.
Phone was on mute.
Yeah, somebody's on mute or something. That's fine. I'll come back to you in a little bit. The last 4 digits, 8910. I did recognize you. I'll get back to you in a little bit. And now we'll go back to the others. Hi, how are you? Well, good. So you're how did you first start singing? How did you get into singing?
For me, I've been singing since longer than I can remember. I do have a memory of performing solo in church when I was 5, and it was always something that I did, and my dad kind of helped bolster that and feed that desire that I always had to sing. So growing up, it was always singing at church, singing at school, and I always had more of a formal choral till about my late teens, when I was really finding my own sound. And then into my 20s, as I started working with more recording artists and exploring different things that I was interested in doing and the sounds that I was wanting to create with my voice. And that took a long time. That's one thing. I'm also a vocal coach, and I work with my students, and I always tell them my goal is not to make them sound a specific way. My goal is to make them sound like their best possible self.
Cool.
So,
yeah, it's something
me,
I've done.
Singing has always just been a natural thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I also do vocal coaching, and even no matter what I'm doing, no matter what level of performance that I'm doing, I always maintain spots for students, because I love being able to give back, and I love seeing people achieve their goals and their dreams, or at least reaching their best potential. And so I relate to that a lot. Even when I was in Vegas, even though I was doing showrooms and performing nightly, I still had my students during the day, some of them, and I just loved it because it was such a great way to stay in touch with your foundation, but also to kind of give back, and that's awesome. That's really nice to hear.
Absolutely, 100%. I always feel better after a day of coaching my students because it almost feels selfish because it is helping me to stay connected to the foundation of singing. And I also end up warming up my own voice and my own body in the process when I'm helping them and coaching them through it. But I love seeing that next step, that next goal achieved in my students when they find the control in their soft palate and their voice, and they open up and they hear that ringing that maybe they've never heard come from themselves again like before. And it's wonderful to see them light up when that happens.
That's great.
Ooh,
that is great.
Ooh. Michael, you should have her do your Cagle corner and sing something for everybody since I don't think she has any music released yet. That way they know what she sounds like.
Wow.
I'm so horrible.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute. So what are you roping me into?
Yeah.
She's like, man, I'm never trusting this girl again.
Well, I got an idea. Give me a taste of what you sound like a cappella.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna hold my phone away from my face.
I know that. I know that one.
Let's see. Black velvet and that little voice smile. Black velvet, soul, southern style. And who religion that'll bring you to your knees. Black velvet, if you please.
Woo! I told you
everybody's speakers out.
Wow. I like.
Thank you.
I like. Good tone. Really nice tone. Wow.
Thank you very
there.
much.
Yeah, if I could analyze that. Wow, there's a lot there to really like. Really good.
She's amazing
really nice,
live
warm.
too. She's got great stage presence.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really nice.
That's my superpower, evoking emotion with my voice.
Okay.
I like to melt faces, make people cry.
Jeez.
I
vouch for the melting faces part.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying. You've seen it. Yeah.
Are you the lead singer for the group, or do you guys take turns, or?
I'm the lead singer. Right now we do have. Well, I think we have two. We have two songs that my guitarist will sing to kind of give me a break once in a while, and I'll just kind of do a little backup vocals for him, little rhythm stuff. And as we move forward with our writing, I think we'll start finding a little more balance because some of our stuff can get pretty heavy. And so I have to give myself a little bit of a break. And we really tailor our set list so that I don't get vocal fatigue in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
And so our songs will kind of hit hard at the beginning and then calm down a little bit and ramp up and then calm down and then, big finish at the end of the set so that I don't end up wiping myself out.
That makes sense. How long does your sets usually last?
Well, right now we do have enough songs to do maybe an hour and a half, but typically when we're doing the local music scene, they allow about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
And so our goal is to have a full album released in spring. And not all the songs that we currently have written are actually going to go on the first album we release. So, we're trying to build kind of a catalog right now and be able to do shows like summertime festivals where they may want more than an hour's worth of music and really interdisperse more covers and originals for events like that. Because we actually were invited to quite a few of those this summer, even though we literally just started in June.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Again, it's been really fantastic and shocking, and we've kind of had to sit back and really analyze what the hell has happened in the last 5 months. Because it just went so fast. So as soon as we started performing together, just whoop.
How do listeners follow you? Where should they go to follow you?
So we have a Facebook page. It's Lung Duster, one word, and an Instagram, lungduster_music. You can follow us there, see any events that we have coming up, any shows, kind of see what we're doing in the studio a little bit. We should be launching a YouTube channel next week, I think. And
fun.
Yeah, and we're building the social media platform because I recognize where that's going to need to have a little more attention. We do have a SoundCloud. It is also just Lung Duster. There's currently nothing on it, but it's there. It's set up if people want to follow us on that platform.
So what's your guys' goal, let's say, in the next, what would you guys like to be doing within the next 3 years?
I know what I would like to be doing, and that's actually a conversation I should probably sit down and have with the guys and see what the long term it looks like for them. I know that, like I said, it's been June, July, August, September, 4 months. And where we are now is crazy. So in 3 years, we could be touring the lower 48. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. Because like I said, our goal is to buckle down this winter and get the rest of our album written, recorded, mastered, and have an album release party by 4/20. That's the goal.
Okay. All right. Well, I wish you the very best. I will probably bring you on again, so maybe a little bit closer to maybe the beginning of the year, see where you guys are at and how the writing's gone and everything. But yeah, that's exciting. Connect with me on Facebook. I'd like to stay in touch with you and follow up with you individually as well. So.
Absolutely. It was a joy talking to you, Michael, and I'll reach out to you right now when we get off the phone.
That's awesome, and thank you so much. I really do. I really wish you the best. It's nice to see success stories happening. So
it is.
It
Coming
is.
out of the panini, it's been a roller coaster watching things come out of the woodwork and seeing what survived and what didn't.
Yep. We're going to have to do a show together sometime soon because it's an excuse to hang out and drink.
Absolutely.
I'm in.
All
right.
That would be awesome.
Well, we'll set it up.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Take care, and I'll be in touch.
All right. Well, talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was cool. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. No, she's an awesome, human being. And if you manage to get them back on the show, maybe you can get all of them together in the same room, which would be hysterical because her other bandmates have awesome personalities too. So
that's awesome.
And I know this is what
we're still waiting.
What you want to do?
All right, I've got 8910 live. Who is that? Say hi.
Hello.
8910.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Do you know your own phone number? You called in. I'm letting you have a chance to say hi. Are you there?
Hi. Oh wait.
8910? No?
Hello.
Yes.
Am I on air?
You are.
You are?
I am? Oh
yes.
my gosh. This is Rebecca.
Hi.
Hi. I wanted to say hi, and this is my first time calling in, and you said to have your friends call in, so I'm doing it.
Well, thank you. How are you? Are you enjoying the show?
I'm good. Doing good.
Good.
Can
Are you
hear
enjoying
me?
the show? Huh?
Yes, very much. I love it.
Thank you. So what would you like to talk about or say or ask or...
I don't know what I want to talk about. What do you want me to talk about?
Ah.
I can give you categories.
It's one of those calls. Oh, no. No. Where they're all excited and then they get shy.
I would talk about myself, but I'm not going to board your listeners.
Well, give us a little. Tell us a little bit about yourself so we know who you are at least.
Okay. Well, I'm. What do you want to know? What I like? My family?
Sure, whatever you like. Here's the thing.
I'm known as an artist.
Okay.
I don't like to talk about blindness, but I'm a blind. I like to crochet.
I think I know who this is. Did you compete in WKT before?
Huh?
Did you compete in WKT?
Yes, I did.
I know who this is. I knew I recognized that voice.
My voice?
I saw you when you performed in Vegas.
I didn't go in Vegas, but I did it in Seattle.
Oh, in Seattle.
I did auditions.
I knew it was one of them.
But I had this guy as one of my karaoke judges.
Uh-huh.
You just hush. So, anyways, try not to be nervous.
That's okay. You can be nervous.
Crochet, and I also like to sing too.
Okay.
So, I've done karaoke. I've done some auditions. I'm not doing karaoke right now, but I am singing.
Well, good. What's some of your favorites? What is some of your favorite music to sing?
I love Elvis.
Elvis.
But
okay.
I would say I made a mistake on one of my auditions a few years back. I had them saying, well, you shouldn't have done Elvis. And I said, well, I sat there and thought, okay. You didn't like it, that's all right with me.
Exactly.
I moved on.
Huh?
I moved on and sang other songs and,
good.
I didn't go through the keep on singing, but, I did try out.
All right.
But I can talk about my other hobbies a little bit if you.
So how did you get into
crocheting?
How did
I get into crochet? That's a good question. Well, my real mother, she was in a lot of crafts. She was into sewing, crocheting, anything. And so, learn on a big hook. It's a K-hook. And I did rugs, and then I did Afghans, and like I said, I don't see. So I have to do it a different way. I have to hold the hook in one hand, and then I have to take the yarn and the pattern I'm working on. Let's say, I don't know, making a pot holder or scarf or something.
Right.
So I have to take the pattern and I have to hold it in my left hand, and then I have to fill all the stitches with my left hand.
Oh, wow.
Well,
okay.
One of these days, maybe I'll have to come back out here and show you guys, demonstrate if you want.
That would be interesting. I'm completely lost when it comes to crocheting. So, you definitely
I can talk about yarn. I can talk about the different hooks I use. Learning about different crochet hooks, because some patterns, like for example, oh my gosh, I hope I'm not boring your listeners. If I am, I can save this for another time.
I don't think you're boring anybody. No. Go ahead and finish.
Okay. If you want me to finish, I will. Anyway, before I finish, I also like to sing other songs, and I've already taught myself 3 more new songs.
Wow, okay.
So, and when I did my karaoke, I'll go back to the crochet in a minute. I did not have the screen in front of me. I had to memorize all my lyrics.
Yep.
Memorize the tune and everything. So that's how I did it.
Good for you.
Now I'm going back to the crochet. So I make different things, and so when you have different patterns and different yarns, you have to use different hooks. And there are, I don't know, off the top of my head, there's a few. And I had to buy a couple more because I did not have them in my possession. But most of the time, you use an H hook. And before I used the H hook, my mother had me practicing on the K hook. And, oh man, that I used for like rugs, and then I started doing Afghans. I can do scarves, pot holders. I make different things, and going to be selling some in December. So there are different yarns out there, and I have 2 stores I like to go to, and I, can probably teach anybody the basic stitches, but I don't know very many fancy ones, so don't ask me. And so my real mother taught me, like I said, and I probably had other people in my family do it, but I didn't. Are you there?
Oh yes, I'm here. Well,
Okay.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I'm gonna probably bring you on another time. We can talk a little bit more. But
Sure.
I wanted to thank you for calling and saying hi and sharing, though. That was very nice.
Well, I wanted to help you out, Knew you
Thank
needed
you
a
so
friend in
much.
a pinch
Well,
to help you out, because I also could talk about my dad a little bit. He was a musician. He played the piano and he sang and stuff like that. I can talk a little bit. So if you ever want me on another time, I'd be happy to do it.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. I do appreciate it.
Well, this is not my phone. I'm using somebody else's phone.
Okay.
So I don't know if I ever go live with you. I don't know if there's a link or how I would do it on my iPad.
Yeah, you can do it on your iPad. You definitely can.
Okay, well then I'm going to have to.
All right.
Okay, thanks, Michael, and I hope to talk to you soon. You take care.
You bet.
Thanks
Have
for
a
having
happy
me.
Halloween. All right. Bye-bye.
Oh, you too. Don't eat too much candy.
Bye. Bye.
Well, you do.
All right. Wow. Okay, so we are winding down. See, I didn't have any guests at the beginning, and now I've had 3, so I'm excited. Are you still with me, Brandy?
Yep, I'm just back here listening.
Well, I did want to say something. Can't do a music show and can't be a singer without taking a moment to talk about the passing of, another legend in the music industry. Jerry Lee Lewis passed away today. And he was, he was a pioneer and definitely one of everybody talks about Elvis, and I'm a fan of Elvis, but there were so many people that were influential and really set the wheels in motion for rock and roll. And you can't really talk about that era and the legends and the giants of that without talking about Jerry Lee Lewis and Little Richard. Those two were so important to rock and roll in the beginning. And he was, I believe, 89?
87.
87. Wow.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And he had his share of controversy but at the end of the day, he was like I said, he was definitely a pioneer and a true, what's the word I'm thinking of? He was a serious influence into music and rock and roll. And I remember they said both him and Elvis at one time were competitors, but also friends, and they shared a lot of the same interest and energy. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited.
Well, and I'd probably say he was probably the first person to coin the rockabilly sound. Back in the day, and that's influential even today for a lot of modern rock and roll. We always go through these phases of what in rock and roll is predominant, but that really was his. And for those of people who are listening who don't know who that is, one of his biggest hits was like Great Balls of Fire. He was considered a revolutionist in piano.
Right.
He just, I mean, he was such an amazing artist. And he helped write so many songs. I mean, I think he also did Me and Bobby McGee. helped write that, which is another oldie but goodie that you hear at karaoke all the time. But yeah, he was an amazing person, and it's gonna be felt now that he's gone.
And if I remember right, on the opposite end of the spectrum, was it his cousin or his brother was Jimmy Swaggart?
I don't remember, to be totally honest.
Yeah,
I know.
Like that.
I know he got the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, and he made it into Grammy Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he just got inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2022. So at least he lived long enough to see that.
That is, yeah. Well, it was kind of weird because I remember yesterday and Wednesday there was this meme going on about that he had already passed, and then his I don't know, his manager or his representative said no, he's still alive, but but now evidently he did pass. So
it's been officially announced. Yeah. I guess one of the stories, I should say, that I heard about that, because I was one of the ones who posted about that the first time around, or rather shared a post about it, is I guess he went in the hospital and he supposedly died for a short period of time. And some people caught wind of that, and so they put it out there, but then he had been revived. So then the manager was like, he's not dead. And I think he made it another 48 hours or so before he officially passed away, and they couldn't bring him back. So I actually did not hear the story behind why he died. Did you happen to?
No. I mean, 87's a healthy lifespan.
It's a good age.
So,
yeah, I mean, that's a good age. If I lived to be 87 and still moving the way he did, I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah. So we want to, if I had, goodness gracious, great balls of fire on my set list, I'd play it right now, but I don't. I just know. You sink my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love is a man insane. Yeah. So there you go.
Yep. There you go.
So anyway, thank you for calling in. You're so awesome. I wish you the best luck, and obviously we'll see each other quite often because that's what we do. We get to hang out, and I think you're doing a private gig tomorrow night, correct?
Yeah, so my band is going to be performing in Snohomish tomorrow night. We are up at the Eagles Club, which is normally a members-only event. So, yeah, it's kind of like a private gig. If you know someone who is an Eagles member, you can kind of get a side pass to sign in as a guest for the evening, which is great because they have really cheap alcohol and really good food. But, again, part of it is you have to be a part of that society. You have to, be nominated or something. And our bass player, David, happens to be an Eagles member for Kirkland, so we play a couple of their venues when they want to have us out. So they're doing their big Halloween bash tomorrow night with a costume contest and all that good stuff. If you know someone and want to go, it's a great idea. Otherwise, I can't help you out. Sorry.
What does it say? We're friends with the band?
I mean, yeah, you could get away with that. If you said you're friends with the band, they might just have you sign in the guest list and you can waltz on in. But that would mean they have to listen to your podcast to do that. So, I mean, I guess I could, if anyone does that and they want to confirm it with me, tell them to say that Michael gave you permission to come, and I'll give a pass on it, and I'll sign you in. So.
All right. Well, that's our show for today. Woo! So. I was going to say, are you doing anything spooky this weekend? But I guess performing is spooky enough.
Yep, that's always a thrill. So, live music, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So it's always a risk every time you perform.
Are you dressing up?
Yes and no. I am going in a 1920s gown. So
how
kinda,
gorgeous.
but I don't do the Halloween dress up thing so much. So it's dressing up without having to dress up. It's my cheater method.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. That is the one and only Brandy Wine, who I am very glad to say stops in all the time and makes my podcast or make my radio show sound even more better than it possibly ever could, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Okay.
I still want to hear you do the karaoke corner too. Are you going to take requests on what you sing? Can put you up to it? Be like, Michael, I want to hear this.
Yeah. What song would you want?
Me? Ooh.
Yeah.
What is, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was from the second Phantom of the Opera that you used to do. I loved that song.
Till I Hear You Sing.
Yes. I love that song when you used to sing it. So.
Thank you. I love that song too. I love that song.
But other people, I'm sure, have other ones they could put you up to also.
I'm sure they could.
All right. Well, I better let you go because I actually have to go get ready for a rehearsal. But I love you, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And please, everybody, be safe. And, Michael, I will talk to you soon.
Thank you. And everybody check out brandywineproductions.com. Check out her single of Never Enough. Seriously. Stop whatever you're doing. Look up this single. Check it out. Stream it. Buy it. Put it on your playlist. You will love this song. I mean that sincerely. It's incredible. So, all right, everybody. I'm going to sign off with a song, and when we're done, we're done. But thank you guys for hanging out with me so long and making the day work. I was not going to do a show, but I'm glad I decided to stay with it.
I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My faith is shaking, and I gotta keep trying. Gotta keep my head held high. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. I'm taking, sometimes I knock me down, but no, I'm not breaking. I may not know it, but these are the moments that I'm gonna remember most. Just gotta keep going. I gotta be strong. Just keep pushing on.
And I want to thank you guys for listening. Once again, I want to give a shout out to World Movement Records and I Am Indie for helping sponsor this show. It's truly an honor to be able to do this, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you know any musicians, friends, performing artists, actors, directors, writers, singers, poets, whatever, that do performing creative arts, this is a place for them to take center stage and talk about what matters to them. And maybe together we will create a center stage that we all want to inhabit. So have a great one and take care. Happy Halloween. And remember, always check your candy.